It's always great to come back to Potsdam where I went to school and see everybody. Had a great experience here, and not only played on some successful basketball teams while here, but made some great friends, and one of them's Christian. First off, congrats to Mark and Alicia on your induction to the Hall of Fame. But tonight's really special. When Christian asked me to come in and introduce him for this, I have an opportunity now to speak about my best friend and greatest teammate that I've ever had. Chris and I both came into Potsdam in 2001 as freshmen. After graduation, as you can read in the program, Chris went on and became a doctor. When I got into college coaching, started off first opportunity working here at Potsdam with Coach Dobbs. And as Jim just mentioned, just got my first opportunity to become a head coach. Those are things that I mentioned because when I'm recruiting, and as I've recruited over the years, I look for guys like Christian Turner. Someone who's going to represent the program with the highest character off the floor and be the hardest working, most fierce competitor on the court. So as I've gone to events, AAU, high school games, and have rosters and keep track, if I put a CT next to somebody, that somebody reminds me of Christian and is a special player. Someone who always plays hard when they're on the court, utilizes their teammates and plays selflessly on the offensive end, communicates constantly and is always active on the defensive end of the floor. Whenever a shot goes up, doesn't miss a box out, and then pursues the rebound, and usually got it. Most importantly, though, is off of the court, during timeouts, or when he's engaging with teammates on the bench or coaches. He's always positive in those interactions with coaches and teammates. Those are guys that I really look for in a program, and those that remind me like that of Christian are guys that we want playing for us. When I was asked here to introduce him, I reached out to a bunch of our former teammates as well as some coaches that were involved with Christian. And here's a collection of what I received when they said how they would describe it. The hardest worker, always dependable, a great leader, always had a positive attitude, great motivator, kind and supportive, highly disciplined, an animal and beast on the court, selfless, a great teammate, a winner, and a person that would do anything at all costs to win the game. Versatile, could play multiple positions on the court. Chris was a guy that could play guard, forward, center, and do whatever was needed to make the team successful. Always did the dirty work, always screened to get a teammate open, rebounded the ball, took charges, all those little things that win big games. And he was extremely smart on and off the court. So as you can see, I'm describing a guy who was a perfect teammate, perfect player, and more importantly, a perfect person and friend. Christian's a guy who always put the success of the team above himself, and I think that's what helped us accomplish all that we did while we were here. When I look back at games, and you all can look at stats that are in the programs, one thing that really stood out to me was when we were freshmen, I look back and go, man, Chris played a little bit. We had two guys on that team, Andre Peterson and John Guida, an All-American and All-Conference player that played above Christian. When I went back and looked at the stats, Chris played in all 27 games that we had that year and averaged about 15 minutes a game. So that's pretty remarkable as a freshman to come in with guys that play his position and were seniors to get that many minutes. So total, Chris played 115 games, never missed one during his time here at Potsdam. And when I tell you how special he is and how great of a person and player he is, you can take my word for it. Because I was the guy sitting on the bench watching him during that time and was able to see firsthand how great he was in every minute that he played of every game. So it's my pleasure, and I hope that you join me in introducing Christian Turner to the 2015 Hall of Fame.
Thanks, first of all, to the committee for this honor, and again, thanks to, congrats to Mark and Alicia as well, of course. One of my dad's favorite stories about my time here at Potsdam was something that came up at one of the SUNYAC conference banquets where all the different basketball teams are there before the conference tournament. All the teams that had made it there have a dinner like this, and they go through the conference, all player, all conference teams and things. And I thought what was a benign question to my teammate, Junior Clayton. I said, look around the room, man. Who in this room, and this speaks a little bit to a couple of the comments John made or that people made to John. I said, who in this room would you like to go a few rounds with? I viewed the people we played against as what they were, which was my enemy. And, really all I had in mind was beating them. And Junior's response was, look, man, I'm pretty sure that everybody else in the room that you would ask this, you're probably number one on their list. So my thought was like mission accomplished. So, and that was me on the court. I tried to play with passion and try to make my teammates better, as John said, and just tried to make life a living hell for everybody that wasn't wearing our colors. So, I'm really grateful to be recognized for that type of career. I didn't score as many points as some of the people in our program. Basketball programs got a long storied history, but I really appreciate the recognition for our team and what we were able to do to bring our program back to the success that they had before we were here. My dad, again, he was a bit concerned about me coming to Potsdam. I had this thought that I wanted to go to medical school ultimately, and he said, I'm not sure, I think they just train, teachers and musicians and that sort of thing at Potsdam, so you should probably go to this other school where they had a couple of dedicated spots. If you got a certain GPA, you would then have a spot in medical school. And actually the coach of that program said something that stuck with me really my whole life. He said, Christian, the two most important decisions you're going to make in your life are where you go to school and who you marry. And I didn't go there. But I took what he said to heart, and I think I was 2 for 2 on those decisions, and I'm really, really proud to be a Potsdam alum. One of the first times we came up here, we were driving, and it's not that far from Central Square, but I fell asleep as I tend to do on drives, usually when in the passenger seat. But and I woke up in a parking lot. Well, my dad was driving, so we were in the car still. But I woke up in the parking lot of a Canton McDonald's, and I thought to myself, man, am I really going to potentially go to a place where the McDonald's doesn't have a drive-through? I mean, I know from a small town, but this is really small. So, but I mean, for me, it really was a place of opportunity. I consistently tell kids that I work with, that I see as patients, that you have to seek out the opportunities. They are there if you know who to look for. And I had the most fortunate chance encounter with Dr. Coskren at orientation. I don't know if you remember this, Dr. Coskren, but I was looking through the academic program and trying to figure out what I would take as a student. And he asked me what I wanted to do, and I said, I think I want to go to medical school at some point. And he said, look, you shouldn't do these other things you're looking at. Here's what you should do. And I basically followed his plan, and that meeting kind of set me on the path to do what I wanted in life. And so I've always tried to impart that on kids, that these opportunities are there if you talk to the right people and you ask the right questions. So, I had the opportunity from Potsdam, walking through Stoll Hall one day to see a flyer that ended up giving me an opportunity to do a research program at Upstate in Syracuse over the summer. And I ended up getting into Upstate, at least in part, perhaps no small part, due to the generosity and of former President Fallon, who was the president when I was here, who made a phone call, without me asking to go to bat for me. And it was pretty special, for a college kid to be at a place that was small enough that you could form relationships like that. I had the honor of receiving a postgraduate scholarship from the NCAA through the work really of professors that I didn't have a lot of interaction with, who sought out this opportunity before, for me, and went really above and beyond and helping me apply, and had the opportunity to make really close relationships again with Dr. Coskren, Dr. Dave Smith, our academic advisor, Dr. Laura Rhodes, in the Department of Biology, people that really influenced me in a significant way. They managed to encourage a kid who at one point had cornrows in his hair and a 4X sweatsuit, and looked at this kid and encouraged him to follow what he wanted to do, which was go to medical school. And because of Potsdam, I was able to become a pediatrician, It's because of Potsdam that I ended up being able to work at, one of the best places to practice medicine in the world, which is the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, where we've been for the last 3 years. So, the opportunities are here, even at a place that, is in a small town, and is a small community. So to the people in the room that are currently and will in the future be involved in the lives of young people, I would just say keep working. Stay dedicated to making an impact on people. It may not be obvious who needs it, but there's kids who come across that really need you, and you can make an impact that'll change somebody's life like it did for me. My basketball experience here was life-changing as well. I formed friendships with guys, as Mark and Alicia both said, that have lasted to this day and will carry on forever. Guys like Brian Lynn, who I played with, and Jim and John I played with, and Emmanuel, everybody knows him as E, my roommate for 3 of the 4 years I was here, and Eldon Harris, guys that really shaped my view of the world that I didn't have in a small town like Central Square. So they influenced me in a really positive way, and a couple other people helped corrupt and lead me astray. And again, they both happen to be here as well, Jim and John. They provided me with so many opportunities to make the right decision and would never let me. And I really appreciate that from them. I'm honestly, guys, I'm forever grateful for your friendship, and they stood with me when Christina and I got married, and I couldn't ask for two better friends to come from here. The people in our program, I mean, it's a cliche, but they were as close as you could get to family, and we worked harder day in and day out, and played harder, I would say, than any of our competition, and that's a really big reason why we ended up getting to where we got in basketball. We helped each other out of trouble with everything from girlfriends to the police, and beyond really everything we managed to accomplish on the court. I know that our class and the guys we played with continue to make our Potsdam community proud of the things our teammates are doing in their jobs and their communities now. To my head coaches, Bill Mitchell and Sherry Dobbs, they helped me grow as a player, guided my development on the court. They really challenged me to become a better leader, to become a leader at all. And when I listened, once in a while, I found myself in some really good positions to help our team succeed. Sherry especially, helped me realize that we would be at our best when I was somebody that our team could look to in times of stress as opposed to the alternative. And I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's something I still apply to my life, both in with my family and in medicine, is just trying to be somebody that people can look to as strength in times where it's tough. And I really appreciate that. Thank you. I'd also like to recognize our coach who's not here, who's not not with us anymore, is Stan Cohen. A lot's been said about Stan the last couple of years here. Seems like every gathering we get to, we still talk about him, and I think that's the way it should be. That's how we remember the people that influenced us that can't be here anymore. He's really a sweet man that could contribute to this program for a number of decades, and he continues to be missed. So I just want to recognize Stan. Finally, I want to say thank you to my family, of course, my parents, Gary and Laura. My mom's here somewhere with the baby. They're here as they had been a lot for a long time. In my 4 years here, they missed 3 of my games. 2 of those were in Hawaii, and I'm pretty sure you guys would have traded a couple of the trips to Buffalo or Plattsburgh for that Hawaii trip, but hindsight, as they say. So they've always supported me. They set a wonderful example for me, especially as I became a father this past year. When I was leading into speaking to my high school my senior banquet, my high school year, my father asked me to keep the comments about our connection and our relationship brief. So I'll once again just say, how much you mean to me. So thanks. And to my mom, you've been the greatest fan a kid could ever ask for. Literally, completely biased support, and I really appreciate it. Thank you to my strong, beautiful wife, Christine. Thanks for being here today, and thanks for being such a dedicated mother to Mabel, that little girl. Thank you. A huge thank you to my big sister, Sarah, who's here, and her boyfriend, Jay. Thank you guys so much for coming up, and a long distance hello, and thanks to my brother, one of the original Maxi Maniacs. it was a joy being able to play for you guys and play in front of you. Thank you for this recognition. It's truly a humbling honor. Thank you.